like a fucking Monte Carlo. I've been trying to
values right now. You guys should see, you guys started with the green one, right? And your orange one isn't there yet? Okay, cool. Yeah. I had already done it, I was practicing with it, I didn't realize it was going to keep my answers there. I apologize for that. Let's go ahead and jump in. So let's plug in our y values. Our first, let's do our y values were 4, 2, 1, 4, and 4. It's not going to put any points on your graph yet. Once you start plugging in x values, it is. So we kept our y values exactly the same. And our x values, we want to flip them to be their opposites. So what's the opposite of negative 5?
Positive 5.
Positive 5, good. Again, the opposite of negative 5 is positive 5, good. Now you can see our shape starting to take shape. Opposite of negative 2?
2.
Positive 2, good. Opposite of negative 2 again?
2.
Positive 2. And last one, opposite of negative 5 is positive 5. And just like that, you can see that our image reflected over the y-axis. And notice, it's still the same distance from the axis. It's still 2 units away. It's just in the reversed position. Cool. Hang on one second. Let me kill my share screen because I'm realizing that since I was practicing with this earlier, all of my answers are still there, so let me fix that real quick so we can actually do these together without me just giving away the answers. The point is that we are exploring on these ones. Complete the table. Green. All right, let me just clear my tables. Hang on one second, guys. Didn't realize that I had set it up to give us all of the answers already. All right. Apologies about that. We should be good to pick back up. My fault for leaving my tables filled in with all of our answers already there. That was silly. All right, let's check out this next one. Next slide. We should be on slide 5, I believe. Let me just get this plugged back in here. Not this part. This part I'm just going to do with you. I'm going to cut you loose to practice reflections on your own after. I just want to make sure that you get the gist of it because we've only done it over the y-axis so far. I want to give you an example over the x-axis just so that I'm not completely throwing you out there without any concept of how to do it, okay? So when you reflect over the y-axis, what did we notice? What was the pattern that we saw? When we went over the y-axis, what changed? What stayed the same? Come on, you just saw it. You just explained it to me. When you reflect over the y-axis, what happens? Go ahead. Yeah, I hear you at home. Go ahead. Good. When you reflect over the y-axis, the x values change, and change specifically to what? To their negatives or their opposites. Make sure you call it opposites just because you might start with a negative and you need to flip it to its opposite, so you might need to flip it to a positive. So, when you reflect over the y-axis, the x values change to their opposites. And what happens to the y values? The y values do what? Do they change?
No.
So what do we say?
They don't.
Stay?
They stay the same.
Perfect. Yep. So, what did we notice? We noticed that when you reflect over the y-axis, the x values change to their opposites, and the y values stay the same. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple concept. Nothing too crazy there. So now, let's go ahead and explore a little bit what happens when you flip over your x-axis. So now, we're going going to reflect our green triangle over the x-axis. So think about what we just said. We said if you go over the y-axis, y stays the same, but x changes. What do you think happens when we go over the x-axis? Good, we got a great answer from home. I guys couldn't hear it, it's only in my headset, but what we said was, when we go over the x-axis, the y value will change, and the x value will stay the same. So let's try it out. So let's keep these x values the same. We have our x values 4, 1, 2, and 4. So let's go ahead and plug them in, just 4, 1, 2, 4. And now we want to take those y values and change them all to their what? Negative or opposite. So the opposite of positive 3 would be negative 3. Perfect. Again, the opposite here of positive 5 would be negative 5. Opposite of positive 3 is negative 3. And the opposite of that last positive 3 would be negative 3. And just like that, we have reflected, and you notice, things are still the same distance. This point was 5 away from 0. This point is still 5 away from 0. The bottom side was 3 away from 0, still 3 away from 0. So it's actually pretty simple with reflections that, like, once you know which one you're flipping over, you're going to keep half of your values the same. You're going to flip the other half of your values to their opposites. So it's kind of tricky when you're like trying to think about it. When you actually start doing it, it's a relatively simple process. Awesome. Let's keep it moving. Number 7, whoops, a classmate made some mistakes. Help them. The blue figure or image was supposed to be a reflection of the red pre-image. The line of reflection was supposed to be the x-axis. What mistake did your classmate make? Offer them some feedback on how to fix it. So the red and blue were supposed to be reflection. Blue is clearly not a reflection. What is it? Yes, sir? If you go to our weekly agenda and click on Desmos, that will take you straight to the active. Scroll down to Friday, click on the Desmos.
Hold on, policy, black Mary James, like a trap fit. Water bang, put up pick codeine, I am that nigga. Pull up thuggin', she won't fuck me, cause my sack bigger. Hold on, come and see, brand new keys, that's a Tesla. I sound sick of all this motherfucking private.